Learning News is at Tower Bridge in London with Headspring, who has gathered together people from HR, journalism, learning and technology. They're exploring AI and data at work and how our leadership development might need to adapt.
So we're seeing a clear knowledge gap, a big difference between how the workforce and how senior leaders perceive the dawn of AI and what this actually means. There's a large fear that AI is going to basically replace humans in job, but senior leadership, and specifically CEOs, have a very high trust in human decision making and actually don't see it in the same way. The research also shows the importance of communication, preparing the organization in making a massive change in order to have a successful rollout of AI.
Working out what the future will look like with AI and machine learning, deep learning, is really, really difficult. It's clear that we're in an era where things are changing really fast. Lots of sectors are being disrupted, from retail to financial services, because of changing technology. We've seen it in the sector that I work in media.
AI is one of those things that people keep talking about, the coming of AI. It's an event that's going to happen to all of us, but actually it's sort of been silently infiltrating our businesses for a really long time.
There's a big change in organisations in general, so the traditional organisational structure is dead effectively. And in order for us to be able to react to the market faster, predictive analytics and AI are really, really key.
How can we make sure that we don't just create more cultural problems with people feeling that they don't belong or that they feel separate from what's happening with technology?
I think it comes down to this trust gap that people have with artificial intelligence, and most of that comes from the unknown. So people not understanding AI or not understanding how it will actually influence their roles or their jobs over the long term. So I think for most businesses, if they want to tackle this and they want to make sure that they don't actually create more cultural problems, it all comes down to transparency within the organisation, how it's going to affect people, and the communications piece as well.
And rather than saying let's just introduce AI into the workplace, let's look at the business problem first and then see how new technologies such as AI can help, and then introducing baby steps so it doesn't become so overwhelming and daunting.
What skills are business leaders focused on in 2019, and how might leadership development need to shift its focus?
So I think in today's world, leaders and leadership development has been focused on a certain set of skills, and I think at the end of the day, with the rollout of AI and as times are changing, there will be a shift more and a need more for soft skills and human abilities. Learning how to learn is key in order to be relevant. Very closely linked to that is also developing a growth mindset, willingness to keep moving forward, to take on challenges with the time. So these are a couple, but I think emotional intelligence. Leaders will need to be able to understand how to motivate, as always, how to motivate their teams, their organizations.
So you need a mixture of technology people who are good with learning, people who are good with process, people who are able to present, people who are more analytical, to really bring the best of breed to our clients.
The challenges that we have to sort of overcome are the stigma associated with artificial intelligence and the fact that the robots are coming and all of those sorts of things, and embrace the ways in which it can actually make work easier and amplify our efforts in everyday life.
In the past, there's always been maybe over-indexing on some of the hard skills, and you look to leaders to have depth and analytical skills and so forth. But with AI, that will change. You're not going to be able to compete with the algorithms and machine learning. So in this sense, it will be more important than before to actually be able to properly engage and drive and motivate your workforce.
What are going to be the implications for the HR sector and the learning sector, learning and development sector with AI, do you think, John Paul?
So a lot is how you're going to introduce automation into your target operating model. So today it's people doing a lot of the work, and I think the organisations that are going to be successful are the ones that can introduce that automation, robotic process automation, and those analytic skills. I also think it's about bringing in digital talent and how you introduce new talent with old talent and reskilling people, and I think that's going to be very, very important. There's a lot of issues around how do I mix skill my team, how do I reskill the talent I have today so that I'm relevant for the future tomorrow, how do I reduce my costs in HR such as through automation, and how do I use things like predictive analytics to get the right candidates coming in and then making sure that they stick.
This is one of the most exciting questions. So we're seeing a shift in the HR and learning and development space where the kind of ye olde worldy HR that was driven by compliance and administration, that's sort of being left behind. It not in a bad way, but I think that's what's being taken over by AI. The exciting part for that means that HR now occupies a much more strategic space in the business landscape, and it means that we have a much better seat at the table in order to be able to influence the way that businesses are run. So for me, I think it presents a fantastic opportunity for people in this space.